How to avoid toxic men. What are the signs you need to be careful for? Hello, ladies, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today, I'm not by myself. I have a special guest. I have Darcy Iverson with me. She's a love and relationship expert, and she will talk about it. Hello, Darcy. How are you doing?
Hi, Alex. I'm doing so well, and I'm so excited to be here with you and your audience.
I'm so proud and so happy to have you. To be honest, it's just a pleasure for me. Can you just introduce a little bit of yourself for the ladies that maybe doesn't know you yet?
Yeah, I'm happy to. So, my name is Darcy Iverson, and I am a love and relationship coach. And I help women heal from emotionally abusive relationships or toxic relationships where potentially there was a lot of infidelity. I help those women heal and attract the love of their lives with men who are healthy, stable, good partners that they can have a long, happy relationship with. And, I personally got into this work because I was in a very toxic relationship for 2.5 years with a diagnosed malignant narcissist who was very abusive, very hurtful. It caused a lot of trauma and pain. And I felt very stuck for a long time, Alex, because I had no idea what was going on in the relationship. I knew that he was abusive. I knew that there was a lot of pain and trauma happening, but there weren't really a lot of coaches. There weren't really a lot of blogs. So I didn't know exactly what was happening. And it took me, finding a really good therapist and figuring out what was going on to get help and get out. And I found all these amazing modalities to help me heal and to become empowered and honestly to become happier than I had ever been in my entire life. So that lit a fire in me to want to help women everywhere get free and get happy. So I'm so excited to just be here and talk about, getting away from these guys and meeting amazing guys like you and having amazing lives. So thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for being here, and your story is really powerful. So I think it will resonate with a lot of women following me and also women from all over the world, because we don't receive any education of love. We think that love is easy. And basically, when we fall into this narcissist or toxic man, we don't know how to escape. We think that the problem is coming from us, which is not the case. So my first question would be, I think, simple for you to answer. Do you think it's possible to be happy in love?
I do. I think it's, you brought up a great point that none of us were trained in relationships in our childhood. I mean, we didn't, receive an education in school about how to be a great partner and recognize a great partner. And I do believe that we can be really happy in love and we can have what we want. I think sometimes we have to remember that just the fact that we were put on this earth means that we're worthy and deserving of having the love that we want. And, a lot of women that I work with, and I'm sure you see the same thing, they kind of fit into these 4 categories. Either number 1, they don't believe they're worthy or deserving of having the love that they want. Number 2, they don't believe that the love that they want exists. Number 3, they don't believe that it exists in their city or their town. Or number 4, they think something bad is going to happen if they actually get the love that they want. So this is where, it's really critical for women to do mindset work and really look at their mindset and challenge themselves to see what kind of negative beliefs are keeping you stuck, right? And do you have a fixed mindset or a growth mindset? Do you believe that you can actually do some work and expand your ability to believe that you can have true love, or are you feeling stuck and thinking it's not possible for you? So that's a really good starting point, is do you believe it's possible or not? And if you don't, how can you shift those beliefs and change those beliefs in order to believe it's possible for you, right?
That's amazing. Do you feel that the first advice or step to avoid toxic men is to believe in yourself, to be positive, to tell yourself, okay, I know what I want and I will stick to my needs or my wishes? Is it the first advice that you will share, or what would be the best advice you can share when it comes to like avoiding toxic men?
So what I would probably say that is that let's chat for a second about some signs that a guy is toxic, because it's very interesting that these men kind of all participate in the same behavior. So a lot of toxic men, you know, I mean, I can say narcissists, or, you know, men who are kind of, you know, active in a sex addiction, some different kind of maladaptive behavior types, they all have a tendency to do the same initial behavior. So one of those is they try to create a lot of intensity in the beginning. So they try to kind of appeal to a woman's romantic sensibilities and create a sense of false intimacy, right? And create this intensity in the beginning so that you are attached to him before the appropriate amount of time has passed, right? It's normal to become attached to a partner over time. It's not as normal to become attached to a partner within like 3 weeks, right?
Exactly.
Another one is, and I don't see this talked about as much, and it's such a critical one, is that they'll try to create some kind of drama in the beginning. And the reason why they do this is because they are trying to test whether you have boundaries or not. So toxic men really don't want to partner with boundaries because they can't get away with whatever behaviors they're planning on getting away with. So they'll test you just a little bit in the beginning of the courting process to see, does she have boundaries and does she not? And if you have firm boundaries, right, then they'll walk away because they know it's not going to work. And if you don't have boundaries, then they'll continue the process of getting involved with you. Does that make sense?
That makes a lot of sense. And you know, it resonated on me because yesterday I have one of my good friends send me a voice message saying, Alex, what do you think? This guy that I just met, they were together for 6 months, like the best 6 months of her life. And now he's asking for all of her ex's email number, email address, numbers, name. So he's looking in her past and he wants to know everything, every single detail. I said, that's weird. This is not a behavior of a good man. A good man will not care about what you have done in the past. What is important is like now and tomorrow. So it really resonated to me because a man that is toxic will create some fights to see if you feel guilty, it will take advantage of you. So you have to be careful. That's a really good point. Thank you so much, Darcy.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, the other thing that I think is important too is that, you know, toxic men try to rush you really quickly into a relationship because they're dating with their false sense of self. So they know, and this is one of the reasons why a lot of toxic men try to date long distance, because they know they only have a certain period of time where they can hook you and they can get you into the relationship before you start seeing what's going on underneath that false sense of self. So they'll try to get you into a relationship, into a commitment. And the way they do this is by mirroring your hopes and dreams and whatever it is you want, right? So they will ask you a lot of questions up front about what it is you're looking for. Is it marriage? Is it a family? You know, are you in pain around that? And then they'll make a lot of commitment and promises that they're going to deliver all that to you way before a good man would make those kind of commitments. Because a good man really thinks about, am I ready for that? Like, am I ready to marry this woman? No, I'm not. Marriage is a big deal. And I really want to make sure that I can actually commit to this woman before I take this step. But a toxic man, he knows that time is running out, and that you're going to see how angry he is, how much he doesn't love himself, how difficult life is for him, how manipulative he is, how abusive he is. So he knows I've only got like 3 months to hook her. So I need to make all these promises, tell her I love her, you know, commit to her, blow up her phone. And for women who've been in a state of deprivation around men in love, this feels so good to them that they want it to be real, even if a part of them knows it's not, right? I'm sure, I know you've seen this.
Yes, and you know, one of the number one excuses that I would receive from my coaches, it's always, yeah, but in the beginning, it was not like this. So the first 2 or 3 weeks when he's just showing a lot of love, attention, he will tell you that he has never felt that love for anyone else before. This is a little bit too much. As you said, the normal guy or the good guy has his own life. He cannot see you every single day. He always has also some goals and dreams. So of course, saying that he will marry you will take time. So I really love this advice. And don't look at the beginning of the relationship if you want to know if he's toxic. I always like to say that you have to look at how he behaves now. So
I love that. And you know, I'm so glad you brought that up, Alex, because that's actually one of the signs that a man is a good man, that he has a full life. He
yeah,
has family, he has friends, he has hobbies, he plays in sports, he's committed to his career. And one of the biggest signs that he's a good man is that he doesn't abandon his life to pursue you, you know?
yeah, that's something really important. So what would be, I think that these signs are really important for ladies. How can they know if it's like testing them? You know, we talk a little bit about the abusive word. So some guy can just talk down to you. Have you seen that with your clients? So you can know that it's toxic because the way he just talk to you. Or we always say in France, just find a man that is talking good to his mother. Like the way he talks to his mother is the way we reflect to you. What do you think about this and the way that a man can use his voice to manipulate or be toxic?
Yeah, so one of the ways that a toxic man will show up like that in the beginning is he will use humor in an abusive way. So he will like use humor in a way to make fun of you and kind of test you to see how you respond and how you feel about that. And then when you get upset and you get triggered by that, he will be like, I was just joking. Why are you so offended? Why are you so sensitive? Why are you taking that personal? It was just a joke. And then at that point, you know, after he's already kind of like used humor to make fun of you, to put you down, he will start to participate in criticizing your friends and criticizing your family as a way to kind of try and isolate you. So, you know, and he'll do it in a way that seems like it's not that big of a deal. Like if your mom calls, right? You guys are on a date, your mom calls, you know, you look at the phone, you're like, oh yeah, that's my mom, I'll give her a call later. He might say something like, wow, your mom really calls you a lot. What's that about, right? And, you know, it will be said in such a way that's meant to manufacture a response inside of you where you think to yourself, wow, does my mom really call a lot? I never really thought about it. But it triggers you to take a look at, wow, okay. And then you find yourself, right, if you're in this kind of addictive cycle already, if you've already gone through the love bombing phase, it causes you to not call your mom back because you feel like, my mom's kind of calling a lot. This guy I really like is insinuating that what's happening with me and my mom is not appropriate. So I'm not going to return her phone call, right? Or whatever he makes fun of you about, you will start to want to change and you'll start to feel this desire to fix it because you'll feel like it's not okay and it's not lovable and it's not beautiful or whatever the joke is that he made. You will want to change and you'll want to make it better and you'll want to make it better for him. And this is where the trauma bonding phase really starts to get grounded and sinks into the earth and kind of gets claws. Does that make sense?
That makes a lot of sense. And effectively, I just found that toxic men has this ability to make you feel that you're not worth it. or that you have to change. And it's really like subconsciously they will put some bad ideas in your mind. So the best way is to really avoid them. And so I would like to ask you a question, Darcy. It's more about how do we want to avoid this toxic man? Because tell me if I'm wrong, but what I've found is like this type of guy, they know how to come to you, talk to you. If you're at the bar or in a nightclub or even in the street, the good guy is a little bit shy. So how can we find a good guy? How can we avoid toxic men in today's world? You know, if you have some ideas on this question.
I do, yeah. So I think there's a couple of things. So women are created with an intuition, and it is one of our biggest gifts that we've been given that is inside of us because it's meant to lead us, direct us, give us power. And that intuition, our intuition, can guide us more powerfully in our love life than anything else. So I always encourage women when I start working with a woman, you know, how in tune are you to your intuition? And if a woman has an abusive past, any kind of abuse, she has totally disengaged with her intuition. And so one of the most critical things that a woman can do, in my opinion, is learn to get quiet and get connected back to that intuition. Right? And a woman can do this by being quiet a certain amount of time a day and just listening to her breath and just paying attention to her thoughts. A woman can do this by non-dominant handwriting. This is like a really simple exercise that's very powerful, where you take your dominant hand and you take out a pen and a piece of paper and you write the question, you know, intuition, what do you want me to know? And then you take your non-dominant hand and you just start writing. And things will come out on that piece of paper that you had no idea existed, right? A woman can learn to trust her intuition by EFT tapping, by doing tapping videos on learning to reconnect with your power, learning how to trust yourself. I mean, there are free videos on YouTube if you can't afford coaching. You can practice breath work. There's so many ways for a woman to learn to trust her intuition again, and that can direct her more powerfully than anything. But I think it's important to talk about, briefly anyways, qualities that good men have, right?
Yes. So this is really important. I just want to talk about what you have said, because intuition is the most important factor in our life, not just a relationship expert. And before to talk about the qualities of a man, I want to talk about, because you talk about EFT, all of these techniques that I'm sure that you also know how to master it. And you have created this Feminine Essence Masterclass, which is an amazing thing that for women you can use. So I will include the link just right below, but can you just share a little bit of some words about this Feminine Masterclass, please?
Yes, absolutely. So I created a feminine energy masterclass to help women reconnect to who they really are. And in this masterclass, there's a few different things I teach. So I teach some healing around family of origin and healing around any kind of toxicity or abuse. And then I teach how to reconnect to your feminine energy and your feminine essence, and how to reconnect to your intuition. And I created it because I think it's going to be a really great fit for your audience. And it's really amazing, and it's totally free, so there's no cost. And I'm so excited to hear. I want to hear how, if people love it, what they get out of it. But yeah, I'm really excited about it, and I think it's going to be incredible.
Thank you so much for all of these ladies from my community. Girls, you need to click on the link below. You need to go watch this masterclass with Darcy. This will help you a lot, a lot. So yeah, I just want to talk about it before the good qualities of a man. What could be good qualities for you, Darcy? What would be a good man for you?
Oh my gosh, there's so many good qualities in men. I think there's just so many. But one of the ones that I think is really amazing about good men, that this came up last week with a friend of mine, is good men will be honest with you, even if it's not what you want to hear. So
Okay.
one of my friends last week, she'd been dating a guy for a while, and they're really starting to like ramp up how they feel, right? They're in that phase, like, I care about you kind of thing. Well, last week they had a really amazing night, and it just slipped out. She just said, I love you, right? It just came out. And he looked at her and took her hands and he said, I care about you deeply, and I am on my way to being in love with you, but I'm not there yet. And I just want you to know that I am on my way, but I'm not there yet. And luckily, you know, my friend has done a tremendous amount of work on herself and was able to really hear that and take that in and not get triggered and be like, oh my God, I put myself out there and it wasn't received or whatever. But the thing is that he is a good man with integrity, and he did not want to lie to my friend. He did not want to say, I love you when he doesn't. He didn't want to say, you know, I don't know when I'll love you or what, you know, if it could happen. He wanted her to know the truth. And that's something I don't hear people always talk about, and that I've experienced in every relationship I've had with a good man, is that they're honest. They're really, truly honest. They have integrity. It's so beautiful, Alex.
Yeah, even if it's tough sometimes for you to hear that. Yeah,
Yeah,
good men will be honest. That's a good point. What will be
yeah,
another quality? I want to know more now.
yeah. So one thing too is that good men, so, you know, I always encourage women to heal their past and not expect a man to build trust with her because she's lacking trust with a guy from the past, right?
Mhm.
So the women that I work with, when they date a man, they go into it with an open heart and being very unguarded and being very just, you know, ready to receive. But one thing I've noticed about the women that I've worked with that have attracted really good men is good men want to establish trust by making small promises and keeping them over time. So like, it's important to them in their own core of the man that they are, that if they tell them, hey, I'm going to call you tomorrow, that they call. And if they say, hey, I want to take you out on Friday, they take her out. And they don't do it perfectly, but the point is they want to be consistent with their actions meeting their words. It truly matters to them. And it's beautiful. I mean, I've been watching men do this for years, and it's one of the most beautiful qualities about y'all, Alex. It's amazing.
Yeah, and I feel, you know, I always say men can manipulate you with words. They can tell you, oh, I want to take you out. And you'll be here waiting on your phone, going crazy and thinking that you're crazy to wait. But yes, if you can find that a man will match words and actions at this moment, he is really a good guy. At least he's trying his best.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean that he's perfect, because no one is perfect, but he's trying his best. So yes, I love these things. Like, our philosophy are really aligned, and I love it. What will be another quality? That will be the last question I want to ask you. What will be another quality that is really important for you as a coach too, for men, a quality for men?
Yes. So I would probably say for the last quality that good men treat women with respect. You know, one of the things that has been really interesting to see this as a coach is, you know, there's a lot of guys online who approach women talking about sex right away, you know, wanting to hook up right away. And the reality is that we all want different things. So, you know, if somebody wants to hook up right away or whatever, that's okay. If they don't want a relationship, that's okay. That's what they want to be doing. But I've noticed that for my clients who are married, that the men who've approached them online, who are also looking for a partnership, have been very thoughtful and very respectful in the way that they approach them, from the first email to marriage. Just, they've been very respectful of her as a human being and her as a woman. And again, he doesn't do it perfectly, but he's not the guy who emails my client and talks about wanting to sleep with her on the first date. it just doesn't come up for a while, you know, and he wants to know who she is, and he wants to know what she cares about and what she thinks about. He wants to know what's in her heart, and he wants to know who she is. And there's a respect there that with toxic men, they don't have that, because they don't even have empathy to know, you know, your thoughts and your feelings, or even have space to hold that for you. And this is the last thing that I'll say, is that good men expect respect. They expect respect in return. So, you know, it is important to, you know, kind of give back what you get. But that's one of the most beautiful qualities about men as well, is that they respect women, and it's really beautiful.
Yes, and as you said in the beginning, it's possible today to avoid toxic men, to find love. It's not easy because it's a process. And this is why I want you ladies to just subscribe to this free masterclass from Darcy. That will just change your life. There is a lot of tools that I want you to learn in order to break the pattern with toxic people, bad behaviors, toxic love, and just fall into the real love. It's not easy, but it's possible. And when it's possible, you have to do everything you can to just find it. Darcy, I will give you the final word. That's just a ritual in my videos. What will be the final word that you want to share to the ladies that are following me and my community?
The final word that I would probably say is that you can change, you have the power to completely change your love life. And just because your last partner was not what you wanted, and just because your last partner wasn't healthy and your last partner wasn't toxic, your history does not dictate your future. You have the ability to do the work and change everything and get the love that you've always been desiring. And just the fact that you're here means that you're lovable, and means that you're worthy of having everything that you've ever wanted.
That's true. Thank you so much, Darcy. It was a pleasure to have you on my YouTube channel. Ladies, if you have any question, feel free to ask right below. We will be here to answer your question. Darcy, I will ask you to come for another time. I'm sure that we will have some other topics to discuss together for this amazing community that I have. And thank you so much one more time. I will put the link, I will include, the link below. Just click on it and continue to work on yourself. I will see you soon, ladies. Bye-bye.